In the 14th century, the city of Norwich was a bustling, noisy, dangerous place. The Black Death stalked the streets. The 100 Years' War with France had led two opposing popes to condemn each other as antichrists. Famine was rife and led to the peasants' revolt, led by heretics who were burnt at the stake at sites like the Lollard's Pit in Norwich. Life was fragile and uncertain. In the heart of this chaos, attached to the Church of St. Julian in Norwich, was a small solitary cell, and inside it a woman who became known as Julian of Norwich. Here she wrote what was to become her famous book, Revelations of Divine Love, an insightful and vital message from the distant past that speaks directly to the anxieties of our modern age. In a quiet, contemplative way, she was a revolutionary, offering simple yet radical truths. She was extraordinary for being the first woman to write and publish a book in English. And, in an age of patriarchal supremacy where God was overwhelmingly seen as a dominant, authoritative male figurehead, she presented God as both mother and father. Without losing the potency and virtuousness of father, she reinterpreted the essential connection between divine and human existence as one of nurturing, self-sacrificing, maternal love. This was not a minor detail, but the very basis of her world-shattering positivity. If the ultimate power in the universe is as tender as a mother, then we can honestly trust with robust conviction that everything will ultimately turn out to be fine. She is perhaps best known for the saying, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." The underpinning of her spirituality was founded on 16 visions she received in May 1373 when she was 30 during a near-death experience that she had prayed for. She spent the next 20 years meditating on these visions before fully reflecting on them and writing about their profound meaning. The series of intense revelations were like a personal encounter in which she had been intimately involved. During these visions, she saw Jesus' face with its thorny crown, the real love and pain behind his pale, beautiful, dying face. She saw him being whipped, how his skin was torn, and how he gracefully accepted this pain and torture for his love of humanity. She saw a wonderful vision of his mother Mary, full of grace and wisdom. Her most progressive insight was her exploration of God as mother, not to replace father, but to complete our understanding of divine love. A perfect love must contain and express the quintessential nurturing qualities of both parents. If the force holding the cosmos is this fundamentally nurturing, then truly all shall be well. She saw that God is everywhere, all the time, and is contained within pure happiness and deep sadness. She ultimately understood the concept of Lord and servant as a revelation about humanity's failing and God's response as loving, compassionate, and understanding. She famously wrote, "I saw no wrath in God." For a 14th century Christian living in a time of plague and war where God was often portrayed as an angry authority, this was a radical insight. One of her most famous visions was of God showing her a tiny thing the size of a hazelnut in the palm of her hand that contained the entire cosmos. It encapsulated the three properties of creation. God made it, God loves it, and God keeps it. This profound mystical insight into the nature of reality implies the universe is entirely contingent on God's love and care. The most important vision led her to a state of certainty about God's nature. All shall be well. This wasn't a naive hope, but a conclusion based on her mystical knowledge. God is all-loving, and love was his meaning. As we search for meaning in a frantic and often overwhelming life, Julian's world of plague and isolation is not so far from that experienced by many during lockdown. She lived during the era of the Black Death and voluntarily lived in a cell isolated from the physical world for decades. For people feeling trapped, she was a model of how to transform isolation into a space for contemplation and growth. In a world quick to judge and condemn, Julian offers a pure God, unconditional love, profound love that she described in her most intimate terms. God is our mother as well as our father, a love that nourishes, nurtures, and will never let us go. Julian invites us to find our own inner peace, a quiet space within where we can remember that we are enough, that we are loved, and that we are held. And in the end, despite all the evidence to the contrary, all shall be well.